In the annals of the Old West, there are many stories of outlaws and notorious lawmen. However, amid stories of gunfights and daring thefts, there is one character who stands out for his terrifying and unimaginable actions: Alfred Packer. Known as the Old West's most feared cannibal, Packer's story is a macabre reminder of the dark side of human nature. In this video, we dive into the life and crimes of Alfred Packer, a figure who continues to haunt the pages of Western history.
Remember to hit the like button because it helps us a lot. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and press the notification bell to not miss the upcoming interesting videos.
Alfred Griner Packer, an American explorer and guide in the 1870s in the Rocky Mountains, who confessed to cannibalism during the winter of 1874. Born on January 21, 1842, in Allegheny County, Pennsylvania, Packer was one of 3 children born to James Packer and his wife, Esther Griner. When he was young, his family moved to LaGrange County, Indiana, in the early 1850s, where his father was a skilled cabinetmaker. During the Civil War, Packer served in the Union Army, enlisting in April 1862 at Winona, Minnesota. However, his military service was cut short due to epilepsy, and Packer was discharged from the hospital in Fort Ontario, New York. Determined to start anew, he ventured west and enlisted again in Ottumwa, Iowa in June 1863. Unfortunately, his epilepsy relapsed, leading to his discharge from Cleveland, Tennessee on April 22, 1864. Packer then set off for the Rocky Mountains, where he worked various mining-related jobs for the next 9 years. In November 1873, Alfred Packer joined a group led by Bob McGrew, consisting of 21 men who set out from Provo, Utah, in search of gold in Breckenridge, Colorado. After 3 months of arduous journey, the wary group stumbled upon the camp of Indian chief Ute Ouray, near present-day Montrose, Colorado, in the winter of 1873-1874. Chief Ouray, understanding the treacherous mountain weather, advised them to delay the expedition until spring and generously allowed the men to stay with his tribe. Despite Ouray's advice, the 4 obstinate members of the group ignored his advice and set out for a government ranch near the Los Pinos Indian Agency in Gunnison, Colorado. Packer tried to follow them, but he was pointed at by others with guns, forcing him to stay at camp. Despite obeying, Packer was still determined to leave. A week later, on February 9th, he departed with 5 other men: Shannon Wilson Bell, James Humphrey, Frank Reddy Miller, George California Noon, and Israel Swan, for the Los Pinos Indian Agency. Bob McGrew, the leader of the combined groups, guided Packer's group along the river route until their horses could no longer proceed. At that point, McGrew unloaded the men's supplies and headed back to Ouray's camp. On April 16, 1874, Alfred Packer arrived alone at the Los Pinos Indian Agency, looking surprisingly healthy despite completing a challenging journey through the Rockies. Preston Nutter, a member of the original group that had left Ouray's camp, inquired about the whereabouts of Packer's remaining companions. Packer claims that he was abandoned by his team in the cold weather. After a brief stay in the agency, Packer expressed his intention to head east with Nutter and 2 others to Saguache, Colorado. During the journey, Nutter noticed that Packer possessed a skinning knife that once belonged to Frank Reddy Miller, casting doubt on Packer's account. When they arrived in Saguache, Packer began spending money lavishly, which made Nutter and the other team members suspicious. Initially, they even threatened to hang Packer, but their plan was thwarted when General Charles Adams, head of the Los Pinos Indian Agency, arrived in time to intervene and save Packer. He then began to investigate, and after questioning Packer, the mountain man signed his first confession, which read clearly, "Old Man Swan died first and was eaten by the other 5 persons about 10 days out of camp. 4 or 5 days afterwards, Humphreys died and was also eaten. He had about $133. I found the pocketbook and took the money. Sometime afterwards, while I was carrying wood, the butcher was killed, as the other two told me accidentally, and he was also eaten. Bell shot California with Swan's gun, and I killed Bell. Shot him. I covered up the remains and took a large piece along. Then traveled 14 days into the agency. Bell wanted to kill me with his rifle, struck a tree, and broke his gun. General Adams believed that if Alfred Packer told the truth, he would have no problem leading a group of people to the original campsite, where physical evidence would prove or disprove Packer's story. Packer initially agreed to guide the group, but after claiming to be disoriented and threatening Constable Herman Lauder with a knife, he was imprisoned in Sagosh. Meanwhile, a search party discovered the remains of 5 men at a single campsite, contradicting Packer's claims that the deaths occurred along the trail. Packer was arrested and charged with murder. However, the prison is just a small wooden house. After being passed a makeshift key for his irons and given some supplies, Packer escaped. In 1883, Packer was discovered in Cheyenne, Wyoming, living under the alias John Schwartze. Jean Frenchy Cabazon, one of the original members of the Utah mining group present at Chef Ouray's camp in the winter of 1874, recognized Packer and promptly reported him to the local sheriff. Packer was arrested shortly thereafter, and authorities contacted General Adams. Packer was then transferred to Denver for further investigation. General Adams quickly arrived and successfully persuaded Packer to issue a second confession, which he signed on March 16th. Instead of maintaining his previous claim that men killed each other to survive, Packer now alleges that Shannon Bell became unstable and killed others with axes while he was out scouting. According to Packer, when Bell spotted him, he charged with the axe raised, and Packer shot him twice in the stomach. Lost and trapped in the middle of camp with the dead, Packer says he only eats cannibals after a few days, when it becomes his only means of survival. On April 6, the trial began in Lake City, Colorado. Packer pleaded not guilty. After 7 days of testimony and examination, he was found guilty of the intentional murder of Israel Swan and sentenced to death by hanging, scheduled for May 19, 1883. In the local newspaper, the presiding judge, M.B. Gary, said, "Stand up, ya voracious man-eatin' son of a bitch, and receive your sentence. When ya come to Hinsdale County, there was 7 Democrats. But ya et 5 of them. God damn ya. I sentence ya to be hanged by the neck until you're dead, as a warning agent reducing the Democratic population of this county. Packer, you Republican cannibal, I would sentence ya to hell, but the statutes forbid it." However, execution was adjourned due to an appeal, and in October 1885, the Colorado Supreme Court overturned the sentence, citing that it was based on an outdated law. Packer was retired in Gunnison, and June 8, 1886, his credibility was greatly affected when he changed his story twice. The jury found him on 5 counts of manslaughter and sentenced him to 40 years of prison, with 8 years on each count. It was the longest prison sentence in U.S. history at the time. On June 19, 1899, Packer's sentence was upheld by the Colorado Supreme Court, and he was held in the Cannon City Jail until his pardon, February 8, 1901. After being pardoned, Packer found a job as a security guard at the Denver Post Office and lived a quiet life in Littleton, Colorado. He is said to be a model citizen, earning the respect of those around him. Alfred Packer died on April 23, 1907, at the age of 65, in Deer Creek, Jefferson County, Colorado. His cause of death was cited as dementia, trouble, and anxiety. He is buried in Littleton, Colorado. His grave is marked with the headstone of a veteran listing his original regiment in 1862, which is a replacement because his original headstone was stolen. Packer today is widely rumored to have been a vegetarian before his death. Please like and share if you find the video content interesting and useful. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and comment below so as not to miss the upcoming interesting videos. Thanks for watching.